You're tired of lying awake, tossing and turning, scrolling on your phone, or just staring at the clock. Today I'm sharing 21 practical tips from an article, as well as my own hacks that have helped me fall asleep fast. And when I say fast, I mean asleep within 2 minutes. So let's get started so you can finally fall asleep quickly and wake up feeling your best and ready for the day. All right, so let's see what this article has to say. I'll give it my 2 cents along the way as usual. And I'm confident that once you implement what I recommend, you'll be able to fall asleep fast. Over time, it'll get faster and faster until within 2 minutes like me, sometimes even a minute. When someone is unable to fall asleep, they can take medications that induce sleep. However, natural techniques such as avoiding screens before bed, reading, doing gentle exercises, or practicing mindfulness may also help. I'm going to just give you a little spoiler here. Avoiding screens is not one of my practical tips for falling asleep within 2 minutes. So keep that in mind. Being unable to fall asleep can be frustrating and have consequences for the next day. However, people can learn to fall asleep faster using some simple, natural tips and tricks. Different things work for different people, so take some time to experiment to find what works. This article looks at 21 natural methods that people can use to help them fall asleep quickly. And as I mentioned before in other videos, I don't read the articles that I read. I want to actually react to them. So if it ends up being something that's not that great, I'd stop recording and do something else. So we'll see how this goes. Many people living with insomnia can lie in bed wondering how to fall asleep. Probably one of the reasons why you can't fall asleep is if you're trying to fall asleep. That's one of my tips. When this happens, a person can try using the tips below. Some are long-term lifestyle changes, while others are short-term solutions to try at the moment. Number 1, create a consistent sleeping pattern. This is what I do as well. I go to bed every day between 10 and 10:30. Rarely I go to bed after 10:30. If I do, it makes a huge difference getting up in the morning because I get up at 4:30. That's my schedule. Go to bed between 10 and 10:30, get up at 4:30. Going to bed at different times every night is a common habit for many people. However, these irregular sleeping patterns could interfere with sleep because they interrupt the body's circadian rhythm. The circadian rhythm is a selection of behavioral, physical, and mental changes that follow a 24-hour cycle. The primary function of the circadian rhythm is to determine whether the body is ready for sleep or not. This is heavily influenced by a biological clock that releases hormones to induce sleep or wakefulness. Going to bed at the same time every night helps the body clock predict when to induce sleep. Number 2, keep the lights off. Cues such as light also influence the circadian rhythm, which helps the brain and body judge when it is nighttime. Keeping the room as dark as possible when going to bed might help bring on sleep. I keep my room pitch black. I put up blackout curtains, no night light, obviously, because it said that every 90 minutes our eyes open a little bit to kind of check if it's time to wake up, because it knows it's time to get up when there's light. So if you sleep with a night light, may not be a good idea, because during the night when your eyes open, and happens while we're sleeping, your eyes open, it detects light, and it starts to put you in the wake cycle. Number 3, avoid napping during the day. I don't take naps, so this is a good tip. Taking naps during the daytime, particularly those that last longer than 2 hours, can also disrupt the circadian rhythm. One study found that college students who napped at least 3 times per week, and those who napped for longer than 2 hours each time, had lower sleep quality than their peers who did not. It's a good point that they emphasize sleep quality. Doesn't really matter how many hours you get, it's the quality of sleep. So keep that in mind as well. After a poor night's sleep, it's tempting to take a long nap. However, try to avoid this, as it can adversely affect a healthful sleep cycle. Number 4, get some exercise during the day, even if it's a walk. Try to expend energy. This is how you get rest. If you don't do anything all day, if you just sit around all day, your body's building all this energy and you're not expending it. So when you try to go to sleep, your body still has some energy in the tank and wants to do something. So go for a walk each day. It doesn't have to be anything major, but the more you exercise, the better you sleep. And my kids know this, because if they're out and they're being really active for a while, they hit the bed, fall asleep, and they sleep. They're out. If you're a parent, Have your kids do some exercise, they'll sleep better and they'll go to sleep faster. One study found 29 studies that concluded that exercising may be able to improve the quality of the duration of sleep. Another 21 study found that exercising for 60 minutes, 4 to 5 times a week for a period of 8 to 12 weeks can significantly improve primary insomnia, which is the difficulty in falling or staying asleep. However, it may be a good idea not to exercise too close to a person's bedtime, as that may actually disrupt sleep. When taking on an exercise routine, it can be difficult to know where to start. If I work out after 8 p.m., I do have trouble going to sleep. So that's how it is for me. I'm not sure how it is for you, but it is a good idea to try to do it as early in the day as possible. Number 5, avoid using your cell phone. I think this depends on the person. I'm 52 years old. I use my phone. I watch TV all the way up until it's time to go to bed, and I fall asleep within 2 minutes. So I think this depends on the person. I think this is kind of being vilified because of something else. Kind of like meat and sugar. Meat gets vilified for what sugar does. The idea that using a mobile device, especially before bed, might be detrimental to sleep is not new, and it's not always true. One 2021 study found that using a mobile screen for more than 8 hours a day or for at least 30 minutes before going to bed can negatively affect sleep. Keeping the mobile device near the pillow while sleeping had a similar association with worse sleep quality. I turn off my Wi-Fi at night for my phone. I put it in airplane mode just because it may be true that the Wi-Fi activity does have some negative influence on the electrical system in our body. Not sure if that's true, but I turn it off, and maybe I'll turn it on or leave it on and see if it makes a difference. But so far I put it in airplane mode. Like this study, much of the current research has been based on students and young people, so it's unclear whether or not these findings extend to other age groups. Studies also tend to focus on problem phone use. People who do not use their mobile devices in this way may not be as susceptible to sleep disturbances. I don't use my phone for 8 hours a day, maybe 2, so that could be part of it as well. More research is necessary for this area to understand the extent to which phone use can impact sleep. Number 6, read a book. I usually read throughout the day off and on, but I don't read before bed. Not to say that you shouldn't, but I don't. Reading books can be relaxing and may help prevent anxious thought patterns that could interfere with a person's sleep. A 2021 randomized trial study examining the impact of bedtime reading on sleep showed that sleep improved for 8 to 22% more people in the intervention group that read before bed compared to the control group that did not. However, while reading before bed can be relaxing, it may be best to avoid actually reading in bed. There's a clue to another tip. A person with insomnia who wakes up in the middle of the night should read in a different room using a dimly lit light. It is also a good idea to avoid books that might cause strong emotional responses, which could prevent a person from relaxing sufficiently in order to fall asleep. I don't know if I should just hold off on everything that I do. I don't know if I should comment on this because it may be, I don't want to repeat myself. I don't want it to be repeated. They may talk about it, but I'm going to mention it anyway, just in case, because I don't want to forget. One of the biggest factors to falling asleep fast is to not touch your bed. Don't even touch your bed until it's time to go to sleep. A lot of people sit in their bed watching TV or scrolling on their phones. And then when you do that, we blame the phone. It's not the phone per se. It's the fact that you're doing multiple things in bed. And our brains are very adaptable. They adapt to our environment and to what we're doing. So if you're laying in bed and you're scrolling and you're watching TV and you're drinking some tea, you're basically telling your brain that your bed is for scrolling, for watching TV, for sleeping, and for drinking tea. And it's unable to know which one takes priority. So if you're doing all these things and then you turn off the lights and you lay down to go to sleep, your brain could be thinking, hey, aren't we supposed to be drinking tea? Hey, I thought we're supposed to be scrolling. Hey, shouldn't we watch something on TV? We need to compartmentalize things that we do if we want our brains to be able to know for sure 100% this is what this is for. So as I mentioned in another video, if I'm sitting here at my desk, I do my day job here, but if I want to read, I go somewhere else. When I work on my videos, I go somewhere else. So it's good to do that so your brain knows exactly what it needs to do and it can adapt and it can really laser focus in on what it needs to do. So do not touch your bed until it's time to go to sleep. Over time, maybe within a few days, maybe within a few weeks, you will train your brain to understand that this bed is absolutely for going to sleep and going to sleep only. Number 7, avoid caffeine. Caffeine is a stimulant, stimulates wakefulness and can disrupt sleep patterns. It takes about 3 to 5 hours for the effects of caffeine to wear off. I've heard even up to 12. Therefore, it's best to avoid caffeine for at least 4 hours before going to bed. I think that's a bit too liberal. I think just having caffeine before noon is probably the best bet. Some people consuming caffeine at any time of the day could have a negative impact on sleep quality. For these people, it may be best to avoid caffeine altogether. Avoiding caffeine altogether may not be practical if you're following a carnivore lifestyle or some other low-carb lifestyle. You don't want to implement too many new habits at once. Just try to drink your caffeine only before noon and try to make it some more natural forms of caffeine like coffee or tea. Stay away from energy drinks. Number 8, try meditation or mindfulness. For us, that would be Salah. This is another big tip that can help you fall asleep fast, and it could be why Rasul Sallam used to go to bed as soon as possible after Isha. Salah before bed is good, and you can pray again. Obviously, we could pray Sunnah anytime. So if you want to pray a couple of rak'ah before bed, that's good too. Meditation and mindfulness can help reduce anxiety, which can often disrupt sleep. Using these techniques can help calm an anxious mind, distracting the person from busy thoughts and allowing them to fall asleep more easily. Yeah, Salah is a reset button. 9, don't wake yourself up. When a person relaxes before bed, they usually feel sleepy. A person who's having a hard time falling asleep may actually want to avoid doing things like brushing teeth, removing makeup, washing their face, or entering a brightly lit bathroom right before they get in bed. It is better to do these activities at least half an hour before bedtime and then take some time to relax in a dimly lit, non-stimulating space before heading to bed. This way, a person does not disrupt their natural pre-bed sleepiness. By the way, if you're having headaches, if you get major headaches, this is one of the symptoms of too much sugar, insulin resistance. So your diet plays a big part in this as well. Number 10, change your eating habits. Oh, here we go. What a person eats, particularly in the evening, can have an impact on their sleep. For example, eating a large meal within an hour of going to bed may impair a person's ability to sleep. Specifically, certain foods might prevent a person from getting quality sleep. For example, though the evidence of this is mixed, some research indicates that eating refined carbohydrates could interfere with sleep quality or trigger insomnia. Additional research shows that avoiding processed foods and eating a healthy diet comprised of low glycemic index foods can have a positive influence on the ability to fall asleep and stay asleep. Good foods to eat include whole grains, nuts, low in fat and dairy, fruit, and all this misinformation, as usual. Can you see how this information is sprinkled into everything? I mean, this article doesn't really have anything to do with nutrition or what to eat, but anything connected to a study or anything, they always push the whole grains, nuts, low fat, non-dairy, all this crap. Not good. If you do carnivore or a low carb diet, it will definitely improve your sleep. Maybe not in the beginning because your body's adapting and it's confused, but just give it time. That's why people who do carnivore, we usually say, do it for 3 months before you judge it. However, no matter what a person eats, digesting a meal can take at least 2 to 3 hours. Lying down during this period can cause discomfort or feelings of nausea and slow the digestive process in some people. It is best to allow the body enough time to digest a meal before lying down. The exact time this takes will vary from person to person. I usually don't eat within 4 hours of going to sleep, and so far it's worked out really well. Not only do I fall asleep very fast, but I sleep all through the night, and it's a lot easier to wake up in the morning. Number 11, get the room temperature right. Being too hot or too cold can have a significant impact on a person's ability to sleep. The temperature at which people feel the most comfortable varies, so it is important to experiment with different temperatures. However, the National Sleep Foundation recommends a bedroom temperature of 60 to 67 degrees Fahrenheit to promote sleep. I personally can't sleep if it's hot or even warm. It has to be cold. It can never be too cold for me, but usually around 69, 70 degrees, depending on your thermostat as well. That's typically the temperature that I can fall asleep with. Number 12, try aromatherapy. People have long used aromatherapy to induce relaxation and sleep. However, the evidence for this is mixed, and the benefit may depend on the way the oil is administered, such as topically versus as an inhalation. Number 13, find a comfortable position. For us, that's laying on our right side, knees slightly bent, right hand under your head, left arm laying on your side. This is the Sunnah of the Prophet, peace be upon him, and their health benefits to this, which I won't get into in this article, but this is the way we sleep. A comfortable sleeping position is essential for sleep. Frequently changing positions can be distracting, but finding the right spot can make a big difference to the onset of sleep. Most people find that sleeping on their side is the best position for a good night's sleep. Again, that's what we do. The Sunnah of the Prophet, peace be upon him, is to sleep on our right side. And of course, you can roll over on your left side during the night, but in terms of falling asleep, we sleep on our right. 14, listen to music. Nah, don't listen to music. Music is haram. Sorry to burst your bubble, but it is. I'm going to be doing a video on why science says music is haram. So anyway, we'll read it anyway. Although this may not work for everyone, I'm glad they put that in there. Some people benefit from listening to relaxing music before going to bed. In a 2019 study, subjects who listened to music before bed reported sleeping better than those who did not. However, a person's response to music will depend on their personal preferences. Sometimes music can be too stimulating and induce anxiety and sleeplessness. Number 15, try breathing exercises. This is a good idea, especially, all of these have to be taken into account who you are as an individual, what kind of day you've had. So if you're kind of stressed out, trying these breathing exercises, praying, these types of things can be very beneficial. Breathing exercises are a very popular relaxation technique. Practicing deep breathing or doing specific patterns of breathing, people de-stress and take their minds off anxious thoughts. This can be a powerful tool for getting to sleep. A common option is 4-7-8 breathing. This involves breathing in for 4 seconds, holding the breath for 7 seconds, I recommend 12, and exhaling for 8. This type of deep rhythmic breathing is relaxing and can promote sleep. And the formula is basically if you breathe in for 4 seconds, you hold it for 3 times that number, so in this case 12, and then when you exhale, you double this number, so 8. So you can breathe in as much as you want, and then just use that formula to know how long to hold it and how long to exhale. And when you breathe in through your nose, and when you exhale through your mouth. Number 16, take a hot bath or shower. Taking a bath or shower can be relaxing and help prepare the body for sleep. It can also help improve temperature regulation before bed. Doing this 1 to 2 hours before bed for at least 10 minutes may be particularly beneficial according to research. I personally take showers in the morning, but give it a try. 17, avoid reading ebooks. Ebooks have become increasingly popular over the past few years. These are the only kind of books really that I read, and I read them at night, but I read them on my Amazon Scribe. So it's not a bright backlit screen. It looks like paper. If you've ever seen a Kindle reader, this is what it is. And to the eyes, it's like reading paper. They have backlit screens, which make them ideal for reading before bed in a dark room. However, this could negatively affect sleep. One study gave young adults a printed book and an ebook to read before bed. Researchers found that when using the ebook, the participants took longer to fall asleep. They were also more alert during the evenings and less alert in the morning compared with when they read the printed book. Such results suggest that ebooks could have a negative impact on sleep. It all depends on the person, but if you find that you have a hard time going to sleep and this is something you do, reading ebooks on like your iPhone, for example, or an iPad, try cutting it out along with these tips. Maybe it'll help. However, the study only involved 12 participants. The researchers also used a study design that meant that the participants read both types of books. It is difficult to determine whether or not exposure to both reading conditions biased the results. Few reliable studies exist in this area, and more research is necessary to draw any firm conclusions. 18, take melatonin. Melatonin is known as the sleep hormone. The body produces it to induce drowsiness and sleep in line with the body clock. People can also take it as a supplement to increase the chance of getting to sleep. I personally don't take melatonin. I do, however, take magnesium. I take Calm magnesium gummies before bed. I take 2 before bed. I can fall asleep fast without them, but I just take them because I'm on a carnivore diet and I drink caffeine. And caffeine binds to magnesium, so I take that as a supplement. 19, use a comfortable bed. The National Sleep Foundation recommends that to get a good night's sleep, people may want to sleep on a mattress and pillows that are comfortable and supportive. Investing in a comfortable mattress could have a positive impact on sleep quality. Investing in a comfortable mattress could have a positive impact on sleep quality. Yeah, this is also another subjective tip. Some people sleep on the floor. this really has little to do with your sleep quality. A lot of it has to do with the things we've discussed. Number 20, avoid noisy environments if possible. Noise can be distracting, prevent the onset of sleep, and lower the quality of sleep. A 2016 study found that participants had significantly worse sleep in a hospital setting than at home. Could have been the hospital. The authors of the study found that this was primarily due to the increased level of noise in the hospital. This can also just be due to the fact that if you normally sleep, in dead silence, and then suddenly you're in a hospital, that could disrupt your sleep because you're just not used to it. But if you live somewhere where there's noise, normally it may not affect you. So take that with a grain of salt. 21, avoid excessive alcohol consumption. Drinking large amount, well, we don't have to worry about this, inshallah, right? Drinking large amounts of alcohol before bed can have adverse impact on sleep. On the one hand, it is a sedative that induces sleepiness, but on the other hand, it can negatively affect the quality of a person's sleep. For people already living with insomnia, even a small amount of alcohol could make the condition worse. Getting to sleep naturally is the best way to ensure that the mind and body get the rest they need. Trying the methods above can increase the chance of falling asleep without needing to use any sleep aids. Yeah, speaking of sleep aids, someone I work with at my day job, he had brought up carnivore, and I told him about it. And so he decided to try it. And within the first week, he was so excited that he said he was able to now finally fall asleep without the help of sleep aids. I'm not sure exactly what he took, but it was a form of medication. He's a little older than me, and he's tried everything in the book. But he said even within the first week of doing carnivore, he's now able to fall asleep fast and sleep through the night. And sleep is one of the most important things we can do for our health. It even trumps diet. But in the West, it's very underrated because a lot of us want to work more, do more, and we sacrifice sleep, which affects our diet, affects our energy levels, affects our mood. And a lot of times we can't put our finger on it. We think, oh, why am I struggling? Why can't I focus? Why do I not have good memory, etc.? And a lot of times it can be traced back to poor sleep quality. All right. So that's the end of this article. So to wrap things up, I'm going to go through my own regimen, what I do before going to bed that helps me go to sleep immediately. So number 1, carnivore diet helps with anxiety, makes you calm. Your body, your insulin's not spiked, which then triggers cortisol. And cortisol can trigger the wake cycle. So carnivore, don't touch your bed until it's time to go to sleep. If you can stay out of the room, that's even better. I mean, I watch TV or scroll on my phone in a chair next to my bed, and it has no effect. So I think not touching the bed plays a big part. And I've experimented with this where even if it's 8 o'clock at night, 7 o'clock at night, if I lay on the bed, I'm asleep within a few minutes. Not as fast as normal because that's not usually when I go to sleep, but I will be asleep within 5 minutes or so. So I think that plays the biggest part. And do some exercise during the day. Drink your caffeine before noon. Pray before going to bed. If you have thoughts running around in your head, write them down, because in our mind, the brain doesn't see things in time. So if you have 5 things you need to do, your brain thinks you need to do it right now. It's always on your mind, or it's in the back of your mind stressing you out. You can't really figure out why you're stressed out, why you feel analysis paralysis. You need to write all of these things down so you can get it out of your head. And it takes time to train your brain to not think about these things and to know that it's written down in this, notebook or in an app. But these things help me to fall asleep within 2 minutes. And I'm not exaggerating. I fall asleep within 2 minutes. But consistency is also the key. You want to do this every day. Like I said, the brain adapts. It can adapt to good things. It can adapt to bad things. But consistency is key. So hopefully this has been beneficial. If it has, please share. The algorithm may or may not promote this. The YouTube game is all about good thumbnails and titles to get someone to check out the video. But hopefully you share it if you found it beneficial. And leave a comment. Let me know what tips you have that may not be in this video. Like, share how you fall asleep fast. We're all here to learn from each other. So until next time, may Allah reward you for being curious and keep tying your camel. Assalamu alaikum.